Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Tuesday, the 21st of July, 2015. Hope you had a good trading day. So far, it's been a slower start to the week. Did not see a lot of movement here on Monday. We don't have any economic data due on Tuesday, as we discussed in the weekend report. We are, however, still in the middle of the core 8 days of earnings. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are going to see a lot of earnings releases, and that will get us back into that gap mode that we've been in for the last week. Let's talk about where the market is. First of all, here's the ES front month futures contract daily chart. We've moved back up near the highs in this narrow range that we've been stuck in for a while. The advanced decline ratio is not great in all this. To be aware of that. It's a couple of stocks that have taken this market up in the last week or so. Here's the S&P cash, very near a new high, obviously, if the futures are as well. But it's the NDX that's the story, obviously, the big gaps from Google and Netflix and everybody else last week. But like I said, the advanced decline ratio, not super favorable at this point in time. So this is not something I'd be looking at as some kind of a breakout in the market. Matter of fact, let me take a quick look. The advanced decliners today on the Nasdaq ended up in the red. So let's be aware of that. Decliners led advances by 1,066 today on the Nasdaq side, and on the New York side over 1,000 as well. So that is obviously a significant negative when you realize that the market's hitting new highs. And actually, if you look carefully at the dots on this chart, this is the Nasdaq advanced decline ratio. You can see the negative 1,066 close here today. It was negative on Friday and negative on Thursday. But if I take you back to the NDX chart, Nasdaq's up, 150 points over those same 3 days. So this is what we call a cloak sell-off. Actually, it's interesting, but it's not unusual for earnings season when you get a couple of these big cap stocks that can carry the whole market. A lot of other things happen underneath. Just be aware that it certainly isn't a positive for once this sort of settles out post-earnings season. The SOX is down 4. You'll notice the SOX, this is the semiconductors, actually near the lows of the recent months. Here during this earnings season. Biotech's up 3, which is essentially flat, but that is a new closing high on the biotechs. Google posted an inside day. Remember the big gap up and push higher day on Friday from the earnings. The biggest, not the biggest point gap, obviously, in the market history, but it's the biggest net cap gap up in market history. They really beat earnings there. And then they had an inside day so far today on Monday. Apple up 2, approaching the highs. If there's a positive sign out there in the market as well, that's that, remember Google and Apple very heavily weighted in the Nasdaq. Netflix as well. And when I show you the Netflix daily chart, up the last 3 days. So these 3 stocks have really carried what is the move up in the market. Everything else is not really participating equally. The VIX was actually up 0.3 today, 30 cents or so. Still keeps it in the low 12s, which is obviously a non-positive level for the VIX in terms of market volatility. Here's the crude oil. Starting to roll again to the downside, closed at 50.89. Good for me as I'm hitting the road on Friday for a drive. And we were talking about gold over the last couple weeks, how it was setting up that nice inverted cup formation. Look at this big breakdown day in gold. So gold bulls are in trouble. Trend closing at 1.14 with the 10-day moving average at 1.22. That doesn't necessarily mean anything either way. And then we'll look at Nasdaq volume, which was 1.6 billion, just right where it's been on average here the last month or so. Nothing spectacular either way. Now let's take a look at the action during the day on Monday. It's 5-minute candles. We'll go to on the ES. Those are 10s. There's 5s. So you can see basically it's a tiny gap up. We filled it quickly. We made some money on our opening range plays and futures. The next hour was basically in a 3-point range on the ES, which is horrible. And then we popped and started heading upward. Topped out about an hour left in the market and came all the way back to the VWAP midpoint area. Our top stock pick of the day was MDSO long over 58.94 and a 97. I'm sorry, and that broke out well over that through 59 and all the way to 60 very quickly. So we had a nice winner just as the market popped for the session. The Nasdaq futures, on the other hand, basically gapped up, filled the gap, and then immediately started drifting higher. But again, you'll notice they came back to the VWAP. Look at that, right on the purple line for the close. Pretty much just mechanical at that point in time. All right, so again, no data for tomorrow, but we're back in earnings season. So we'll be looking for late day moves based on rumors and whatnot, and then probably gap the next day from all the earnings coming out, and then repeat on Wednesday and Thursday. And then we're through earnings season. We get into next week, which is the last full week of July. Should be a cleaner trading week. Obviously, a week from this Friday is the 31st, so the last day of the month is also Friday, so that's going to be slow. But maybe next week itself, get back to a little more normal action. It'd be interesting to see if this market really is going to, push higher once these earnings are done, or if this sort of camouflage sell-off that we're getting is actually going to be the winner here, and I have a feeling it will. So I have a feeling we'll be seeing our 2062.50 TriStar level on the ES again sooner rather than later. Just not enough volume in this and again, the advanced decline ratio being as bad as it is, can't look at that as positive for the market. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you have not taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will be in the lab helping you out. If you do find these videos useful, please like them on YouTube. It does help us out. Have a great trading Tuesday.